Welcome to another edition of the Buck Stops Here. I am your host, Hound Dog Buck 50, one of the illest, if not the illest, battle rapper in the game. Here to bring you the latest in battle rap news. But like I always say, it's not about me. Today, we're going to talk about a topic dedicated to our one-time edition. That's when one time is something that we say in the South, even though I'm from Jersey. But when we say one time, it's like we paying a salute. So the one time is something that we dedicate to an artist, entertainer, or even a genre of music. This one time is for the golden era of hip hop, the late 80s, an era that was very dear to me, and I'd like to speak on it. Like I said before, I am your host, Hound Dog Buck 50. And when it comes to hip hop or any musical genre, everybody has their era. And this era is so good to me that I gotta drink to it. Everybody has their era, man. You know, it's gonna be some young cats watching this. And for them, their era, depending on if they're 34, their era might be Hot Boys. You know what I mean? For somebody else, it might be when Drake came out, when Wale came out. And I can't argue that because everybody deserves their time. Because even me, you know, I'm 50, but there's some rap that was before me that I never got a chance to absorb. So it's just that everybody got their timeline. But I want to talk about an era that was dear to me, the golden era that a lot of people consider 88, 89. I mean, so much more we're going to talk about. I'm gonna do 90s too. I'm gonna cover the 90s too. But we gonna get into that. We gonna get into that too. We gonna get into that. We really gonna get into it. But before I get right off into my 80s dedication, it's always good to give a backstory. Because what's so dope about the 80s, that 88, 89, it wasn't just a golden era, but that was really the era. That was when I really became a true hip-hop head. I mean, I'm from Jersey, you know, I was from Camden, you know what I'm saying? So when I moved to Florida, I was like 14. So I got into I was into a lot of the bass, like, you know, Luke, you know, Shy D, MC Clay D. I was into that. They wasn't heavy lyricists, but it was cool. It was a good beat. I listen to rap now, don't get it twisted. You know, LL, of course, you know, Run DMC, Tila Rock, It's Yours, commentating, illustrating. I wasn't fully indulged in hip hop like that, where I was a fanatic. Even though I bought some stuff now, I ain't gonna front. Maybe I was a hip hop head and I'm just underestimating myself, because I would definitely go to the record store across the street and I would get down. I bought Steady B, the first one, the first joint, the one with Believe Me That's Bad. If you're old enough, you remember Stetsasonic, the one where he had all the all white, on fire. Yeah, I bought that. And you know what's crazy? I didn't even have to hear a song. I would just take a chance. If the album cover if they look confident on the album cover, I just buy it. But now, pre-story to 88, 89, I had a friend. His name was Travis Bell. Travis was maybe a year or two behind me, but he was a rapper at the time. He was already in. This is pre-88. I'm just saying this because I want to take you through the journey. He's the first person to introduce me to Public Enemy, Yo Bum Rush the Show on wax. And I remember the first time I heard Public Enemy #1, I was like, what the hell is this? I couldn't get with it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I couldn't get with it. But he was, you know, I rolled with him because he was an MC, and I just like to be around the action, you know. You know how they say you live vicariously through someone else. So for that alone, I got to give Travis the ball. One time for Travis Bell. So, me and him clicked. I used to, go to his house Friday nights or whatever, Saturday nights. House was hot, no AC. But I'm not saying that that's not the point of the story. The point of the story was he used to cut. He was good with it too. Even though he rapped, he was good DJing too. And we just enjoyed videos, enjoyed the hip hop, and that was really, I feel like almost like a reintroduction. Now, one of the first albums I bought from the golden era was Biz Markie, Going Off. I bought that album. I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't fully immersed into this thing called hip hop. I bought the album, and I was like, I don't know. There was a store across the street from where I stayed. It was called Record Breaker. And I kid you not. I was so disgusted. I took the album back, and I just folded it with all my power and shoved it into the trash can. I just never gave it a chance. Picking boogers, which is all bizarre to me. Hey mom, what's for dinner? Go up your nose and pick a winner. I'm like, all right, I'm not ready for this. And then I can't explain what happened. I had a friend named Tyrone. Tyrone, he was a cool dude. Me and him wasn't exactly alike, but we had that musical thing. He was into the Word Up magazines. I was into that. We was both musically inclined. So that was the friendship. That was the bridge. And I watched MTV Raps early through him because I didn't have cable at the time. Moms didn't have cable, so I watched it through him. But I caught the early episodes, like the very first one, the pilot, where it was Run DMC, Jazzy Jeff, and the Fresh Prince, and it was like backstage or whatever. I remember that. And so back to the biz. Here's the thing. Here's what was so crazy about that. I never heard the album again. Like, how sometimes you hear something, then you hear it again, and you like, yo, that's pretty good. Nah, it wasn't that. I guess my listening taste evolved because I literally found myself just thinking back on the songs. I'm like, yo, that shit was banging. It was like I was jonesing, like if I could have it again, almost like dating a girl you didn't really appreciate her, but you look back and be like, she was a good girl. And that was it. It wasn't like I heard it and it grew on me. I just literally, because I got a good ear, I can remember something. Me and you could be talking about 9/11 and I can hear something crazy playing in the background, but I still remember what I heard. I'm just preoccupied because we're talking about something else. So when I revisited, man, hands down, one of my favorites from that era. Biz Markie, yeah. Picking boogers, let me tell you something. When you get past the crazy lyrical content of the song, and you just take it for what it is, that beat, maybe not for somebody else, but for me, that beat, hey mom, what's for dinner? I ain't gonna say the rest, but man, I'm the magnificent. He's Biz Markie, the star of the show. You be so fresh. He's Biz Markie, hardworking. That album, man. And you know what's crazy? I never bought the album again, but it darn sure stayed in my psyche. And I owe it to Biz to just buy it again, really. I wish I could meet him just to tell him my experience with that album. But before I really get back into it, that era was not just the music, it was the style. For us kids coming up, it was the outlet. We could tune into what the latest dances was, what the latest clothes style. Of course, it was the haircut back then was the high top fade. I'm up there now, so the hair game is not what it used to be. I got a little bit left, but it's not what it used to be. But back then, the high top was a must. You had to have the high top. As I take you through the journey, you gotta just roll with me, because I just don't want to tell you about the music. I want you to jump in the ship with me and feel what I feel, if that's possible. If you're not from that era, you may just be entertained. But if you're from my era and you're watching it, you're gonna be like, yes, my nigga, I feel you. I never forget. Me and my boy, same cat, Tyrone, we went to the barbershop. This was like right before school was starting, and Buddy was kind of crowded, and he just like dissed us, like on some like, he was open, but he was like, I ain't taking y'all. And from that point on, we both got some clippers and said, we gonna figure this shit out. And I used to wear a wave cap the summer of my senior year, and when I wore the wave cap, I noticed like a week later when I combed it up, it seemed like this stretched the hair out. So I came up with this crazy idea. I'm just gonna put the wave cap on the whole summer, not brush it, and then when it's time for school, comb that joint up, and I'm gonna hook it up. I had the inspiration from Kane, Smooth Operator, the album cover, when he had the little diamond cuts in the front. And I said, yo, I'm gonna do that. I went to the, they got the little, the beauty stores, the beauty salon stores. They sell the clippers and the edges. I had that, hooked it up. I was ready. First day of school, I was ready. And matter of fact, I'm gonna show you how ready I was. I'm gonna give myself the bomb on that one. That's how ready I was. Whew. Great memories, man. Great memories. And then the music, timeless. And what's so crazy? There's so much music from that era. It's no way I can name it all. It's impossible. But what's so cool about this is, once you see this, you can leave your favorites. You can even put me on. Be like, yo, Hound Dog, you never checked out this album? You need to check it out, because it's never too late to revisit. But last night, I thought about it and I said, yo, I got to get together a list of some of the joints that shaped my childhood. And like I said before, me and my boy Tyrone, we had a good little system. So the way we did it was, we would go record shopping together. There was a flea market that we used to go to in Fort Lauderdale. Sometimes we buy the same joint, but for the most part, we had an unwritten agreement. If you buy Audio 2, I buy EPMD. So, because I can always duplicate the other one from you. So that was kind of like how we did it. Sometimes we would say, you know what, I'm going to buy that anyway, So this is a joint that I had. EPMD, Strictly Business. You got to chill, because I'm housing. You're a customer. Let it flow. Even a DJ song, DJ Kayla Boss. I remember them joints. And what's so cool about music is it takes you back to a special time, a special place. I had my first car. My mom's got me that car. Moms, I love you for that. It was a Mazda hatchback. Great car. And I didn't have a job that summer, so I went to them labor pools, did the daily pay work. And what I did, I just kept stacking the checks, putting it in. It was like an ice tray on the top of the living room, whatever you call that, dinette set, cupboard or whatever. And I put the checks in there and let them pile up till I had about a couple hundred. Bought me some 6x9s, an equalizer. Had my uncle hook me up like a box or whatever, and he put the 6x9s in a box. And this is how you get the soundtrack, man. Public Enemy, Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. Yes, The Rhythm, The Rebel, Night of the Living Bassheads, Prophet of Rage, Black Steel in the Hour, Chaos, Flavor Flav, Cold Lampin'. Man, come on. She Watched Channel Zero. Man, let me tell you something. And what was so crazy about Public Enemy is the production Bob, when you talk about production, people talk about Dr. Dre. They talk about, Pete Rock. They talk about Primo. They talk about Timbaland. They talk about Neptunes. But let me tell you something. Nobody had a style like the Bomb Squad. Their style was it was their style. The way they could take like a song and take 8 or 9 different eight or 9 of the same word, but from different songs. Like they could use the word, but it's all from different songs. But it's like, it was so ill the way they put it all together. You listen to Flavor Flav, Cold Lamping, yeah, crazy, man. 30 something years later, Bomb Squad, ridiculous production. Then you had our era was so crazy is that some people was considered corny by the hard, quote unquote, hard dudes, street dudes or whatever. But guess what? When your era was like that, even them dudes was good. Kwame was fire. The Boy Genius, I bought that one. Push the Panic Button. Yeah, I bought that one. Yeah, I bought that one. Tyrone didn't have to buy that one. That was a good album. And you know what was different back then? Everything wasn't predicated upon going platinum, double, triple platinum. If your video was shown on a regular in that rotation on yomtvraps, you was a star to us. And then, in that same category, you had Kid and Play. Some people said they was corny, but that first album, yeah. Goddamn that DJ getting funky. We Want Brother Man to Get Hip. Last Night. That was a dope album. I don't care what nobody say. Kid and Play's first. I had the second album. Kid and Play's first album was fire. I don't care what nobody say. You call them corny. I was messing with them. I'm going through the dudes they said was corny. Then you had Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper. I bought that on wax. I didn't like every song on the album. Some of the songs was kind of like borderline corny. The Nightmare on Elm Street, on My Street, I wasn't really crazy about that. Parents just don't understand, but they had some good songs though. The songs that was good, I really like Brand New Funk, Here We Go Again. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper. It was a good album. And then, you had Big Daddy Kane. I had to do that for you, Kane. I didn't buy Kane, but it's only because my homeboy bought it. So I just got lazy and just said I just duped it. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like I wasn't a fan. I knew the record. Big Daddy Kane was ill, man. That first album cover, dressed like royalty, chicks all around him. Come on, man. Grab a hold. What's that? Just the album, the way it started off. Party people in the place, embrace the bass as I commence to pick up the pace and make you motivate and accelerate. Cause like Tony the Tiger, I'm great. Yeah, man. Big Daddy Kane was that dude. Long live the Kane. My boy Tyrone bought it. I didn't have to buy it. I duped it again. And what was crazy about Kane's run was a short run, but that run made him a legend. Kane was a dude who wanted to do different things. And in retrospect, he really didn't do nothing wrong. But back then, hip-hop was very narrow-minded. We wanted our rappers to be rappers. We didn't understand branding at all. Back then, if you did a commercial, we called you a sellout. But Kane was that dude, man. The high top fade, the style, the clothes, yeah. And then we can't talk about Kane without talking about Kool G Rap. Kool G Rap, Roads to Riches, Poison, It's a Demo, yeah. Marley gives a slice, I get nice, and my voice is twice as horrifying as Vincent Price. Let me tell you something, man. I remember way back listening to, because Kane was my guy, and I remember listening to G-Rap's verse, and I was fighting myself. I was like, nah, is his verse better than Kane? I'm acting like I didn't hear it. But man, G-Rap is that dude, man. He's that dude. And then of course you can't mention that without mentioning the Juice Crew. Marley in Control Volume 1. I bought that album. The Rebel is here. Tragedy. Dropping Science. Craig G. What's the other one? There was another song in there by Craig G. Oh man, it was Dropping Science, and it was one more. I can't think of the other joint right now. It'll come to me. You had Master Ace, Simon Says, then Keep Your Eye on the Prize. Yeah, that was a good one. I can't think of that other song by Craig G that was on there yet. Oh, Duck Alert. Yeah. And then you have my homeboy Travis again. He was the first one to turn me on to this. He had the single. Then I don't know if I got the album. I think he had the album. Ultramagnetic. Critical Beatdown. Whoa. Those dudes was ahead of their time. Ain't it good to you? Watch Me Now. Oh. Kool Keith, House and Things. Mo Love's Theme. Man, oh man. That album was a classic. Rhymes, Kool Keith, that was maybe I'm not saying it from a factual standpoint, but for me, that was the first dude I ever heard rhyme off beat. He was weird with it, but you know, he made it do what it do. Later found out that Said G did the production. Crazy, ahead of his time, man. That album right there, if you're a hip hop head, it's a must. Then we shift the coast. We go to NWA, straight out of Compton. My boy bought that, so I didn't have to buy it. My boy set the world on fire. All the stuff that they was doing was edgy, man. Fuck the Police. Dope man. Quiet on the Set. If It Ain't Rough. There was some good albums. Well, Ren was killing that one. When Ren is the villain and you're just a hostage, so whenever I'm stepping, cover your head like an ostrich. Yeah, man. Then you had the young dudes, Special Ed, Youngest in Charge. I remember I never saw the video when it premiered. But, you know, that was a big deal because everybody would go back to school and they would talk about whatever was hot, you know. And I felt so out. I felt like the odd man out because I'm like, who is Special Ed? Because the way they talking about it, it must be good. You know, I got it made. Doo-doo. Yeah, I'm talented. Yes, I'm gifted. Never boosting, never shoplifting. Yeah, man. Taxing was one of my favorites. Then you had the ladies. You had MC Light. I bought that one. Man, MC Light, yeah. She was a tomboy back then, but Light was always a good looking chick, man. Back then, not a lick of makeup. You saw what you saw. That first album, I bought that. 10% This. Paper Thin. Light as a Rock. Yeah. Queen Latifah. I never bought her album, but I can't sit here and say that was what my boy didn't buy that joint. That was just something that I missed it. But that first joint, that dance to the music, dance for me, that was fire. Ladies First, that was fire. I mean, Queen Latifah's flow was always impeccable to me. Moni Love, I never got a chance to get Monie Love's album, but her flow was crazy. Then you had one of my low-key favorites, Stetson Sonic, uh, In Full Gear. Some people don't like the way Sally walks. Yeah, that was a good album. Talking all that jazz. Now, for me, from a memory standpoint, the other album was a little more impactful because it had Ghost Stetson, On Fire, Faye. Yeah, that was a little more memorable, more nostalgic for me, but that didn't quite make the list because I'm going 88, 89. But Stet was my group. Then you had De La Soul. De La Soul was, at the time, I remember listening to it the first time. It's not like the first time you hear something and you hear the skits and you're like, what the hell is this? Paz needs a haircut. You're like, this is strange, man. But it was dope. And in retrospect, when you look back on it, a lot of people don't like the word weird, but really all it means is different. They dare to be different. 3 is the magic number. Jennifer, Ghetto Thing, Plug Tuning. Well, I can't remember the name of the song. Cool Breeze Rocks or something like that. That was a song where they kind of took the Bomb Squad type element, where they just used the word rock from different songs and put it all together. It was nice. One of my favorites. Then you had the mighty KRS-One, BDP, Boogie Down Productions. I only bought one, but let me explain. Don't go hard. Just let me explain, bro. I only bought one KRS-One record back then, and that was the My Philosophy 12-inch. The KRS-One had a lot of songs that I liked, but you know what it was? He used to do his reggae thing, and I used to hate it. And I don't know, I think I convinced myself that I wasn't going to like his albums. Because now when I listen back to some of the joints like Edutainment, I'll be like, that was dope. What was I? But I guess sometimes you put something in your head. But a lot of songs he had that I like, though. A Love's Gonna Get You. My Philosophy, of course. I'm Still Number One. Jack of Spades. Jack. 1, 2. Yeah, man. KRS-One, just that dude. Ain't too many people you can put above him as far as a complete MC. Yeah. Sleeper album. My boy had this one. Skinny Boys. They can't get enough. I ain't gonna sit here and say the album was a classic, even though it had some cool joints. But my favorite song from that one was Stylin'. Even now, I still got it in my in the Rolodex of the music on the phone. Stylin', yeah. Eric B. and Rakim. Follow the Leader. Me and my boy Tyrone, we both copped that album cover classic they had on the Dapper Dan, with the big ropes, just looking gaudy, like two bosses. I ain't gonna lie, that era influenced me. Them dudes just made me want to wear jewelry. They definitely had a lasting impression on me. The album, not their best. It was okay. It had some moments. Lyrics of Fury, Microphone Fiend. But for the album cover, it was worth buying. Jazzo, also, he had an album. It wasn't a classic, but hey, he did introduce us to Jay-Z. Hawaii Sophie was decent, but Jazz was just always a prolific MC, just sort of lost in the shuffle of the greatness of that era. I had a few albums from that era that wasn't really popping, but you bring them up. 783, Cooler Than Cali. Album wasn't definitely not a classic, but it had a couple decent songs on there. Cooler Than Cali, Everybody Get Loose. It was a few decent ones on there. Then you had, my boy had Salt and Pepper, the second album, Everybody Get Up. I never had no reason to get it because he had it. Salt and Pepper has some songs that I like, but I'm not gonna front like I was really crazy about Salt and Pepper. I wasn't, but at the same time, it wasn't like I didn't like them either. Then you had DOC. It's getting funky enough. It's the Diggy Diggy Doc, y'all. Yeah, I bought that. And I still got the plastic on the album. Still in mint condition, man. A lot of albums that I had back then, man. Can you believe I threw a lot of them albums away? What the heck was I thinking? I didn't understand. If I could have foreseen the future, but I just didn't get it. Those things carry value, but you can't beat yourself up for something. When it's done, it's done. Then you had Ice-T, Power. My boy Tyrone had that. If you know anything about Power, that album cover with Darlene with the white swimsuit looking like heaven. Yeah, people, you had a lot of dudes bought it just for the album cover. He had some songs on there, High Rollers. Definitely a favorite of mine. Then you had Audio 2. I bought that. I Don't Care. Hickeys on your neck. Hickeys on your chest. Of course. Milk is chillin'. Giz is chillin'. What more can I say? Top billing. That's what we get. Got it good. And if you understood, come on, man. Classic. Can't say nothing else about that. I was heavy into the first I went through a phase where I was just buying anything with the first priority imprint on it. Real talk. It said first priority. I didn't even look. It could have been Eddie Murphy for all I know. I just saw the first priority, that big yellow F. I bought it. It's mine. Let's go. Then you had Heavy D. Yeah, and then we're going to talk about Heavy D. God rest his soul. Heavy D. That was that dude. I was so, I felt like I knew him when he passed. But that's not what we're doing here. We in reverence right now. Big time. That was the cutoff point in '89, I believe. My boy had that album. That was a good album. We got our own thing. You ain't heard nothing yet. Flexing. He had some good songs on there. Heavy D, man. Yeah, that was a good album. Then, of course, you can't have no golden era without the GOAT, James Todd Smith, Walking with a Panther. Come on, man. We got to drop the bomb for the GOAT. Walking with a Panther. Some people didn't criticize Walking with a Panther, but it was a good album. You had Dropping Them. You had Nitro. You had Big Old Butt. You had Jealous. You had Jingling Baby. You had Jack the Ripper. It Gets No Rougher. It was a good album, man. Rhyme to the Rhythm Mother. Why should I give a brother time to move on? You better get another kid to work with. Forget it, because I'm on some old ill shit. Taking no shorts, so you better come with it. Capable of murder, but I never committed. Man, y'all leave LL alone, man. Then we had Tribe Called Quest. See, this is where you gotta be honest with niggas. I can sit here and lie, but I'm not gonna lie. When they dropped I Dropped My Wallet in El Segundo, I did not like that song. I still don't like it. Because time is the true tester. Like I told you, Biz, I still don't like that song. It takes Bonita Applebum. I like it now. I liked it, a little bit after, but it was I was kind of bugging out because they were slow dragging at the end. But I like Bonita Applebum. And that album itself is a great album. But at the time, the El Segundo thing threw me off. I fully got on board when they dropped Midnight Marauders. That's when I was fully invested. And then now it made me say, you know what? I may need to revisit some of the other joints. Then you had Slick Rick. the master of style. Slick Rick, if he had a tablecloth on stage, you better believe it matched his bally's. Slick Rick, the king of style, king of storytelling. That first album, my homeboy bought it. No need for me to buy it. The Moment I Feared, Lick the Balls. Unfortunately, for the young kids who don't know what the song's about, they somewhere saying, pause. It's a song, dude. Chill out. Excuse me. I'm here to, what? How did Slick Rick say it? Oh, man. You're kind of late. Flat tire. Well, that do occur. Well, okay. Pay me now when you'll be after her. I hope I don't mess out or run out of breath or even trip. Don't worry, son. You'll hit them harder than a fucking brick. So, Slick Rick was crazy, man. Mona Lisa. And then for me, when I was telling you about the system I had in my car, I played, everything from that era, but there was certain, how you always have certain songs or even certain albums that you just run in the ground. This one I ran into the ground. Steady B. Let the Hustlers Play. Come on, man. Don't play with me. That album. Let the Hustlers Play. I Gotcha. Who's Making You Dance? It was The Undertaker. It was that serious. Yo, this is Steady B. I like to give a stupid shout out to the man in charge. Man, you crazy. Man, that album, I beat those 6x9s into the ground with Steady B. You heard me coming from around the corner. That was like Steady B was in rotation. I didn't buy this album, but I bought the 12-inch. Cool C, Glamorous Life. Ooh, you got it. The Glamorous. Yeah. My man's had the tape, not my homeboy, and I borrowed it. It was pretty good, but I just never got around to buying it. And then, of course, I can't talk about Steady B and Cool C without talking about 3 Times Dope. I be the greatest man alive. Original styling. Never got that one. But again, I had to plug. Somebody else had it, and I copied it. It was good. EST from the Giddy Up. Fire. Those boys was nice. And then you had another Philly. I feel like I got the Philly people in order. I didn't even realize that. They were slept on, but tough crew. That first album, My Part of Town, that song had South Florida on fire. You hear me? On fire. Open Field Attack, Bound to Ike. Yeah. I remember there was a concert they had at the baseball stadium in Miami. And the way it was supposed to work was I was supposed to pick up my homeboys, but I don't know what happened. They left and went with somebody else. I really don't know how. I wound up going. I got there, and I think when I got there, I think Slick Rick was performing, and I missed Public Enemy. But nevertheless, I caught most of the concert. Then you had another one that sort of slipped through. K9 Posse. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. For those that can rap, just clap your hands to it. That was a fire song. Album was, but for that song, yeah. Rob Bass, It Takes Two. Check this out. Joy and Pain, Don't Sleep on It. The rhymes wasn't nothing spectacular, but it was definitely some good songs on that album. And then you had other cats like I said Rob Bass, but there was some other cats that I didn't really listen to that might have been good, like say X Clan. I never really got into X Clan. I never got into Chill Rob G, Lakim Shabazz. There's some people I never got into. So King's Son, and that's not saying that they was whack. I'm just saying it more or less like I never got to experience their vibe. I saw the videos, but it never drove me to wanna buy, their material. But you had some good ones out there now. I'm trying to think of somebody else that I may have missed that came out during that era of that 88, 89. Let's see, you got the West Coast. We did Dre. We did Dre, NWA, essentially. Easy E. That first album was pretty good, even though Easy never wrote his rhymes. Still Talking Shit, Easy Does It. Yeah, that was a good album. Then you had who else in the 88? Because I know there's more now. I know there's more. Well, MC Light, her second album was still in that era with Cha Cha Cha, Ain't Nothing Going On But a Funky Song. EPMD's second joint, Unfinished Business. Yes, I bought that. Yeah, yo, it's the big payback. Yo. Yeah. Who else, man? Y'all got to help me. I'm trying to think. It's got to be somebody else out there I'm trying to think who else from that era that I may have missed. I can't really think of them right now, even though I'm sure that there's somebody out there, But one thing's for sure, man. Music is the soundtrack to your life. And what's so ill about music is it takes you back. Takes you back to what you was doing. Sometimes it takes you back to the smell of what somebody was cooking. Takes you back to the girl you was dating or the girl that you liked at that time. Takes you back. And everybody has a right to their era. But for me, 88, 89 was a special time for myself, and that time gave me memories that I would cherish for the rest of my life, and I will never forget it. So on that note, peace, love, and whatever else you think of love.